The Luchador Edgelords have risen up to the S tier with patch 15.2, so in this video we'll be going over how to play them and going over the best items, augments and power-ups so you can farm some LP. The comp mainly plays around Volibear and Samira as your damage carries, with Set being your main tank, and as we mentioned earlier, it focuses on the two core traits of Luchador and Edgelords. It's a really strong comp throughout most stages of the game, as we'll be playing around Edgelords during the early game, with Yasuo being the perfect item holder. The problem is, it's a pretty expensive comp that comes online at higher levels, so you need to be able to play the strongest early game boards possible. The full comp uses Samira, Set, Volibear, Yone, Braum, Yasuo, Dr. Mundo, Shen and Xayah. But for replacement options, there's a few things we can do. First things first, you can still play this comp without a Luchador emblem. You drop Yone and Xayah and add in Gnar with a high cost legendary like Zyra for example. This uses a 4 Luchador 4 Edgelord setup and will still be very strong. If the Edgelords are being heavily contested or you feel like you're naturaling more soul fighters, you can also pivot into the vertical comp instead. It still uses the main 3 carries, but will just use the lower cost soul fighters instead of the Edgelords. Moving on to items next then, and first up we have our main backline carry in Samira. Her best item is going to be an Infinity Edge, as this makes her ability do crazy damage, and you can follow this up with a Giant Slayer and a Striker's Flail. 3 alternatives you can look for are Deathblade, Hand of Justice for sustain when she dives in, or even a Shojin to get her big ultimate off faster. Your second damage dealer is the big beast himself in Volibear. Now similar to Samira, he loves the AD crit combo, so Infinity Edge, Striker's Flail and then an Edge of Night to lose aggro. He's very flexible though, so you can go for options like Hodge or Quicksilver or Deathblade, or you can go for the standard melee fighter build of BT, Sterak's and Titans. For our main tank Set, we want to focus him on some utility items to make the team fights easier. Sunfire for anti-heal, Evan Shroud to get that Sunder, and then a Stone Plate for added resistances. If you've already got Sunder and anti-heal, you can just slam whatever flexible or traditional tank items you find, like Warmogs, Bramble Vest or Dragon's Claw. Leftover AD items you want to place onto Yone in the late game, as we're going to be using our Luchador +1 on him, and he likes similar items to Volibear. If you're getting tons of rods, try to save your reforges for them because BFs are the name of the game in this one, or you can dump those rods into tank items or anti-heal with Morellos. For Spatulas, you want to focus on a Luchador emblem here, as it allows us to play around 6 Edgelord and 4 Luchador at level 9. Plus Yone is a 5 cost champion, so giving him the extra AD from Luchador will help cap out this board harder. For augments, by far the most important thing to look out for is that +1 Luchador crest or crown. This caps your board super high, and like we just discussed, it allows us to fit in 4 Luchador 6 Edgelord a lot easier. Edgelords also have their own augment called Gain the Edge, which will make them gain more attack speed the lower health their target is, making them deal tons more damage. The more items you have, the more carries you can build up, and a 3 item Yone or Yasuo or even Braum can spike this board even harder, so Buried Treasures is a great option too. Lastly, as this is a fast 8 comp which really caps at level 9, it's always nice to have a helping hand to get there, so look out for slamming and upward mobility so we can get our main carries online faster. For A tier augments, you've got Component Buffet to secure the AD items, Sword Overflow for the extra BF swords, or even the Keeper augments can be solid with the amount of melee units that we have. For A tier econ, look out for Epoch, Fire Sale and Patient Study. For power-ups in this one, we want to use them on our main damage carries, Volibear and Samira. For Samira, we'll start with On the Edge. Now she'll start the fight at 65% health but gain 35% damage amp. It sounds risky, but the healing from the Edgelord trait will make her fall before she jumps in. Then we have the Shadow Clone, which creates a copy of her with the same items, and double Samira is double the damage. We also have Precision that sets her attack speed to 70 but makes her attacks deal even more damage and grants mana per attack. Sky Piercer shreds and sunders the enemies and makes her deal increased damage towards those sundered units. And then finally we have Bludgeoner, which makes her attacks and ability ignore the enemy's armor. For our big bear, you can look out for Serious Slam, which makes his first attack do even more damage and stuns his enemy. Stretchy Arms increases his attack speed and gives him +1 attack range, making him a long range bear, by the end of team fights. Unflinching is extremely strong, giving him extra Omnivamp and making him immune to CC at the start of fights. There's also Final Boss or Double Strike. If you want to get power-up recommendations in real time in-game, you can use our desktop overlay. And every time there's a new power-up selection round, we'll give you the best recommendations to go for. On to win conditions now, and your best chance to win when playing this comp is to streak hard throughout the early and mid-game so you can get tons of money for your level 8 rolldown. 2-starring Volibear, Samira and Set will all be needed for us to push to level 9 and get our 2-star legendaries on our board with Yone and Braum. There's also of course the Luchador emblem that really does bring this comp from a top 4 spot to a first place comp. So look for those augments and spatulas on the carousel. If you have your full 2-starred board online at level 9 with the emblem and the S tier augmenter items we mentioned earlier, you'll definitely be fighting for that top spot. Now let's get on to the game plan, and as this is a fast 8 board, the whole plan is going to revolve around playing strong boards and reaching level 8 as quickly as we can. Early game you want to try and win streaks, so play your strongest board. An early Noctimundo can set you up for that, as the Luchador is extremely strong during stage 2, and with this setup play a Juggernaut frontline with snipers in the backline and power up Gnar or Mundo depending on your items. You can aggressively level before or after the carousel if you're win streaking and if you think a 5th unit will make the difference to keep your streak. If your opening board sucks and you don't have items to make, you can also go for a 5 loss streak. Now onto the mid game, and you want to aim to be level 6 by around stage 3 too. You can continue to play around Juggernauts and Snipers, or if you do find an early Yasuo, he's great with Volibear's setup, so add him in with an Edgelord with either Shen or Xayah. We don't really want to roll during this stage because we're going fast 8, but if you have a lot of pairs on your bench, then you can roll from 50 to 40 to either make you continue your win streak or to stabilise your board so you don't lose health. As always, if you are win streaking, then after the carousel you can look to aggressively level up to 7 so you can continue your win streak all the way through to stage 4. At the start of stage 4 we want to be level 7 with a strong economy so we can get ready to level to 8 on either 4-1 or 4-2. You want to roll around 40 gold here to make you as strong as possible, so we're strong throughout stage 4 as lots of other players will likely do the same. The goal with our first roll down here is to get 1 copy of our main carries and look to activate 4 Edgelord with Luchador. We ideally want 1 Braum or 1 Yone as well, as this will allow us to hit either 6 Edgelord or 4 Luchador at level 8. If you have unfortunately missed on your roll down, don't worry too much, just build your economy back up again and then look to roll again after the carousel. If you have hit enough on your roll down, now it's time to build your economy back up again and start playing for level 9. During stage 5, if you haven't upgraded Set, Volley or Samira to 2-star, then that's your first priority. And once you've done that, then you can push to level 9 to add in Yone and Braum, 2-star them and complete your board. Finally, let's finish up with positioning, and you want to backline Samira and Xayah and keep Samira behind Set in the corner so she's safe before she casts. For the front line, however, you want to make a gap as it will force Volibear to jump in and proc his passive as soon as the fight starts. Make sure Volibear and Samira are on the same side of the Evan Shroud on your Set, as they'll do even more damage to tanks. And that should give you everything you need to know on how to win with our Luchador's comp in patch 15.2. Don't forget to click the link in the description to check out this guide in full over on our website, and you can even follow it step by step in game with our overlay. Good luck guys, enjoy the patch, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.